R and Sif Hey in the Maamar v'yesh lahosef. We began it a bit on Friday morning, but we'll start again. In this Maamar, the theme that Rebbe is speaking about is the bittul hagzeira between Alyanim and Tachtainim, that by Matan Torah, the Eibishter annulled the decree that separated Alyanim and Tachtainim. And therefore, the Rebbe says, when it comes to the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs, there are three different aspects to the fulfillment. There's the Alyanim aspect in the mitzvah, there's the Tachtainim aspect in the mitzvah, and then there is the chibur of Alyanim and Tachtainim that you could see in the fulfillment of the mitzvah. Here in Sifhei, the Rebbe will show how in the very mitzvah itself there are these three aspects. Let's continue inside. If we can add another point over here. The source of the three different approaches, the three different attitudes a person has in fulfilling the mitzvahs. So that's the differences that there are mitzad the gavra, mitzad the person that's doing the mitzvah. What's motivating him to do the mitzvah? But it's who kigam b'mitzvahs atzmam yesh gimel inyanim. In the very mitzvahs itself, it's made up of three different parts, as we'll see. B'dugmas gimel oifanim shebekiyam mitzvahs, which corresponds to the three different approaches of how a person does a mitzvah. Well, so where are the three things that we see in mitzvahs? And the seeing is on mitzvahs lamata hi kemayim razal. So there's one point, there's one aspect in mitzvahs, which is, as Razal tells us, le'nitna mitzvahs el letzaref ben asabriyas. The whole point of mitzvahs is to refine and elevate human beings, and refine and elevate the world, that the objects of the world that are being used for the mitzvah. That's the purpose of the mitzvah. In other words, in the simple sense, the purpose of the mitzvah is not something that the Eibishter needs for himself. The whole purpose of the mitzvah is, since the world is such a hell and vahester, is such a darkness, and so disconnected and separated, at least it appears to be separated from the Eibishter. So the point of the mitzvah is to elevate everything and reconnect it to its source. The purpose of the mitzvahs is not that the Eibishter needs the mitzvahs for their own sake. It's because of the result of the refinement process and the elevation that happens as a result when a person does the mitzvah. That's as far as the person fulfilling the mitzvah is concerned. And also to elevate and refine the objects of the world that are being used in the fulfillment of the mitzvah. So that is the purpose of a mitzvah. To do a birur, to elevate. Yes, but then there's a higher objective, there's a higher idea in mitzvahs. The fact that the mitzvahs are the Eibishter's mitzvahs, they are his commands that he actually himself fulfills. That the Eibishter tells his words and his mitzvahs to the Yidden. So the Medrash says, this that the Eibishter does himself, he tells Yidden to do as well. The fact that the Eibishter is fulfilling these mitzvahs before he tells Yidden to fulfill them. This means that the source of mitzvahs is by the Eibishter as he is to himself, unrelated to any objective of accomplishing anything in the world. The first inyan that the Rebbe spoke about mitzvahs is the whole inyan of mitzvahs is to come to achieve something in the matziv of the world that needs elevation, that needs to be improved, that needs to be elevated. That's the first inyan. The second inyan we see here in the Medrash, that Adarabah, the Eibishter has these mitzvahs, he expresses himself through these mitzvahs to himself, removed of anything that exists in the world. Right? When it says the Eibishter fulfills these mitzvahs, what does it mean the Eibishter fulfills these mitzvahs? It's an expression within the Eibishter himself, not with no shaykhs to anything else. Then those things that are within himself, he commands and shares and gives us the opportunity to connect to that level as well. To do mitzvahs and to elevate ourselves and to connect to that level. That's a totally different inyan.
It seems from the Bar Mitzvah Maamar, wasn't Hashem's tefillin?
Over there in the Bar Mitzvah Maamar it says an opposite pshat. It's not the pshat that he's saying over here. You're right. In the Bar Mitzvah Maamar it says that when a Yid does a mitzvah, you cause that the Eibusher should do that mitzvah. It's an opposite pshat. And it says, it brings it regarding this medrash as well, but it's an opposite pshat. Here the Rebbe is saying that the simple pshat of the medrash is, the Eibusher does the mitzvah first, which means that it's something that's, when you say first, it doesn't only mean before something else, but it means it's before anything else exists. It's removed of everything else. The source of the mitzvah is within the Eibusher himself, higher than anything else that follows. And then the Eibusher shares that with the Yidden, that they could also have the opportunity to do that same mitzvah. Mitzad l'mayla. This is something which is mitzad atzmai, mitzad l'mayla, not based on the condition of the world that needs to be elevated. The idea that mitzvahs is related to the Eibusher himself, and not just about elevating the world, is also understood from the fact Sheremach Pikudin, it says in the Zohar and brought in so many places, what are the 248 mitzvahs? They are Remach Evarim Malka, the 248 limbs of the king. The fact that the mitzvahs are the Eibusher's limbs, Hu mitzad l'mayla. That's part of an expression of the Eibusher himself. What are Evarim? Evarim draw the energy, the chayas of the person into that place. That's the koyach of an Eivah, to be mamshech chayas. There's the energy of the neshama, the energy of the nefesh, and the Eivah brings the chayas of the nefesh into that place. So the idea of the Eivah l'mayla by the Eibusher is, it's a hamshacha of the Eibusher into that place. So there's a hamshacha l'mayla in the fulfillment of mitzvahs l'mayla, removed of what happens over here in this world, before the mitzvahs are given as commands for us to fulfill here in this world. That's the second inyan, the shayrish of mitzvahs l'mayla. And when Yid and fulfill mitzvahs, they perform the same mitzvahs the Eibusher does. The Yidden are going in the Eibusher's ways, and the Yidden connect to the Eibusher. It's not about refining the nefesh bahamis, refining the darkness of the world, and so on. That's not what it's about. It's about the fact that the Eibusher is above all of that. In the Eibusher's realm of existence, none of our reality exists b'chlal. By the Eibusher giving us His mitzvahs, they're His mitzvahs, He's giving us the opportunity to be able to leave our reality and connect and enter into His reality. It's a totally different thing. It's not about refining oneself. So then you're going the ways of the Eibusher and dvukim by. You become connected to the Eibusher. This draws a totally new kind of life to the person that fulfills the mitzvah. As the pasuk says, that the person performs the mitzvahs and then v'chai b'hem. Then he has a different quality of chayas. V'chai b'hem means then he's connected to the Eibusher's expression, to the Eibusher's mitzvahs that he is performing in his reality. So when we do it, it's dvar of, it's the Eibusher's mitzvahs that he's allowing us to fulfill as well. When a Yid does the mitzvah, he's mizdabik. There's dveikus. What's the concept of dveikus? The real concept of dveikus is when a person leaves his own mitzias and his own life that he lives with, and he connects and operates on the Eibusher's chayes, with the Eibusher's life, with what's going on by his reality. That's the musik of dveikus, which is completely different than just being mavarer, the nefesh bahamis, which is the first thing that he spoke about here. And then, through the fact that a Yid connects to the Eibusher on this level, then you have a true source of life, the real connection to the Eibusher. Let's see what it says in the Ha'aras over here, Ha'aras 45, 46, 47, maybe even 44, right before that, one line. So the Rebbe brings here more details regarding the second inyan of Kiyam HaMitzvahs. In Ha'aras 44, the Rebbe says, of course, by the Eibusher, everything is above time. There's no existence of before and after. So HaPirish Dekaidim, when it says that the Eibusher fulfills mitzvahs before we fulfill the mitzvahs here, what does that mean? That means that it's higher in a level, that it's in a different reality removed of us, not that it's before, that the Eibusher already is commanding. You see, when you read the simple pshat of the Medrash, it would seem that the pshat is that the Eibusher has commanded the mitzvahs to Yidden. Before the Yidden get a chance to actually go ahead and fulfill those mitzvahs they've been commanded, the Eibusher fulfills them, and that sort of empowers us to be able to go and fulfill what he does. But the Rebbe says, no, the pshat of Kedima means that before the Eibusher commands, meaning before the mitzvah has any relation to our reality. Once it's being commanded, the idea of commanded is that there's the source where the command comes from, and there's the individual or the people that are being commanded. So there's a connection. Before means removed and in a different reality where the Eibishter is to himself. There's no commander, there's no people being commanded. There the mitzvahs exist as an expression of the Eibishter himself, his own chayes, the source of life. That's the pshat of kaidim, that the Eibishter does the mitzvahs before. In the next order, in order 46, the Rebbe clarifies, it said in the Maamar here, that when you do a mitzvah, you go in the Eibishter's ways. What does this mean? So the Rebbe brings a source of this. Ki yidua shemitzvahs nikroim darkei havaya. In the lashon of a pasuk, the mitzvah is called darkei havaya. You're going in the ways of the Eibishter. It's another expression that it says in the Zohar, v'inun orchun u'shvilun doiraisa. The mitzvahs are the pathways of Torah. Kvar dubar kama pamim was already explained on more than one occasion. The pirish lalechas b'chol drachav hu asiyas hamitzvahs. The pshat, when it says in the pasuk lalechas b'chol drachav, which is also a pasuk in Chumash, it refers in one pshat to fulfilling mitzvahs. Now the Gemara says that lalechas b'chol drachav refers to something else. The fact that a person has the Eibishter's midas, not doing mitzvahs, but it refers to mahu rachum, just like the Eibishter is merciful, so to a person should be merciful, and so on, chesed, and all the other things that a person should have, the midas of the Eibishter, who ala pasuk shebeseif parshas Eikev. That refers to a different pasuk. It says twice in parshas Eikev, lalechas b'chol drachav. The first time it refers to mitzvahs, and the second time, when the Torah repeats it again, there Chazal darshan that it goes on the midas. Okay, so it's two different shatim. One more ha'ara 47. So the Rebbe said that when you do a mitzvah, you're going in the Eibishter's ways, and also dveikus. Lahar mipirish Rashi ala pasuk of vaysid bokun, that you should cleave to Hashem. Hadbek bedrachav k'may shasach hakadosh baruch hu. Cleave to His ways, just like the Eibishter Himself does. Hainu meaning, shal yidei adveikus bedrachav k'may shasach hakadosh baruch hu ayidei zeh uvaysid bokun. Through this, you connect to the Eibishter Himself. Yeah. So why is the Rebbe bringing all of this arichas over here? The drachim of the Eibishter, the dveikus to the Eibishter, all these details. Because when you talk about derech, if you're going on one pathway, life, the pathway of life in this world over here below, that's our pathway. The Eibishter's pathway l'mayla is a completely different pathway. The Eibishter has his derech, l'mayla l'mata, and we have our pathway from below. Using the expression of that we're going on the Eibishter's pathway, what does that mean? That means that a person goes off an exit, he goes off of his life and of his road, and he enters into the Eibishter's pathway. And you're going onto a different route, a different road. This is the idea here of mitzvahs, the second idea of mitzvahs, that a person elevates himself from where he is and connects into a different reality, into the Eibishter's pathway. And the same thing, dveikus means the same thing. Dveikus is not about birur, what he said before, zichachu birur. Zichachu birur is, I am where I am. But I could be a coarse human being. I could be a person that's low, or I could be a person that's refined, that's more spiritual, that's more in tune, that's more connected. But still, the person remains within his metzius. Dveikus is a whole different thing. Whenever Chassidus brings the idea of dveikus, the real pshat of dveikus is that the person is leaving his metzius and he's becoming dovuk to something else. He's attaching himself. Like when you're clinging and attaching and cleaving to something else, you go out of your metzius. That's the second inyan of Kiyum HaMitzvahs. It's on a much higher level. Weiter, the Rebbe continues. Since this idea of mitzvahs shehem, drachav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the fact that mitzvahs are the Eibishter's pathways. The Eibishter Himself performs these mitzvahs. It's above having any relation to the worlds. So the new life, the new energy that comes to a person by performing these mitzvahs, it's a chayis on a level of soiviv kalalmin, which is removed of the reality and the existence and the nivraim that exist. That's my Kaddish of the Mailamis. Soiviv is a level that's totally holy and removed of all of the worlds. When a Yid performs a mitzvah, that level of Seiviv that's removed, he's drawing into himself, and he's able to begin living with that level of Seiviv on an internal level, to function and operate with the energy of Seiviv that a person can't usually access and live with on a regular basis. Let's see in order 50, the Rebbe brings the source of this, from Tanya. Lahar miptanya perik memvav. What does the Alter Rebbe say there? B'pirish ha-shekitshana b'mitzvaysav. What's the pshat in the nusach of the bracha that we say? Shekitshanu. The Eibishter has sanctified us. Why do we add that expression of kitshanu? We're thanking the Eibishter for giving us the opportunity to fulfill a mitzvah. Should have said maybe that we're fulfilling a mitzvah, we're doing a mitzvah. Why kitshanu? Shehi kidushasei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvaydoi uva'atzmai. The Eibishter is sharing with us and giving us the opportunity to connect to His holiness. That's the Taich Kitshanu. Mash HaKadosh Baruch Hu muvdal ma'ilmas. This existence of the Eibishter, which is totally removed of existence, of any of the worlds. B'china Seiviv. But va'afal pikein, he, nefesh adam, shemekayim ha-mitzvah. When a Yid performs a mitzvah, what happens? B'mailas u'madregas kedushas ein Seif Baruch Hu mamish. A Yid is connecting and receiving energy, and on an internal level, b'pnimius, he's receiving that level of chayis from the holiness of the Eibishter. When a Yid fulfills a mitzvah, he's becoming unified and included with the Eibishter, into the Eibishter himself. There's an absolute unity that happens when a Yid does a mitzvah. So that's the source of this inyan. You see it in the nusach of the bracha of the mitzvah itself. A Yid does a mitzvah, he's leaving his own mundane existence, and he's connecting to Kedusha Soyis Barach. And as he explains here, what level of Kedusha? The Seiviv, the level that's removed of any of the chayis that usually enters into the world. Okay, so this is the second inyan of mitzvahs. However, even this second level, Gam inyan zeh, shebe mitzvahs, ubedage sheyesh batzir. Even this level is already referring to the source of mitzvahs above on a level where it's already been formulated as an existence of mitzvahs. True, we're saying that there's the mitzvahs the way they are here below in this world, and there's the mitzvahs as they exist in their source, Lamaila, by the Eibishter. And when a Yid does a mitzvah, you're leaving your road, you're leaving your pathway, and you're connecting to the mitzvahs the way they are above. But those mitzvahs above is the level, is the source of mitzvahs. Once there's an existence, there's a formulation, there's a certain expression Lamaila of the Eibishter's Eivarim, of the Eibishter's mitzvahs, which is a hamshacha of chayis. It's a specific hamshacha of a mitzvah, of Seiviv, right? Therefore, even the mitzvahs on this level, there's a haschalkus of 613 mitzvahs. Darkei avaya l'sharabim. The lashon of the pasuk that was brought before, Darkei avaya. These are the Eibishter's pathways. Or Ramachei Varim the Malka, the 248 limbs of the king, referring to the 248 hamshachas of the mitzvahs within the Eibishter's reality. Hamshach, call mitzvah, the limbs, which each one is a hamshach, is drawing out and bringing the energy of the Eibishter, of each individual mitzvah, even within the Eibishter's reality. The hamshacha pratis is a particular hamshacha. Dugmas, just like it is with the limbs and the organs of a person here below. There's kayach hariyah ba'ayin. There's the power of vision that a person has in his eyes. The kayach hashmiyah ba'izin, the power of hearing that a person has in his ears. So you can't, each one is a separate kayach and a separate hamshacha. The same thing also with the mitzvahs and the hamshachas and the evarim that there are l'mayla. These are separate hamshachas, even where they exist in their source, in the Eibishter's reality, before it comes into this world and related to us and our reality. It's the Eibishter's pathways, but still this is a level which has been already defined into separate mitzvahs. Then, the Rebbe continues, and therefore, Shayech, it's possible, Sha'adam Yaseh Sam Mitzvahs Sha'Kadosh Baruch Hu Oiseh. It's possible that a person should perform mitzvahs the way the Eibishter performs them. The 248 limbs that a person here below consists of, they correspond to the 248 limbs that there is, that the person has here below. So we see even more so over here. We see even more this point that although this is the reality by the Eibishter, removed of us, and the Eibishter is giving us the opportunity to cleave and to connect to what's happening in His reality, but yet we can see how they correspond to each other. The 248 limbs that a person has here below correspond to the 248 hamshachas of chayis that exist internally by the Eibishter. So it's not totally disconnected, it's not totally unrelated. The Yid, by doing the mitzvah below, with his 248 limbs, is connected to those 248 hamshachas l'mayla. So this is the second level of mitzvahs, but this is not the highest inyan of mitzvahs. But then the third inyan of mitzvahs, the highest level of mitzvahs, yesh inyan naila yaisa b'mitzvahs. Now there's a third idea that happens in a mitzvah, and that is shah mitzvahs heim rotzen adam, rotzen elyon, that is rotzen shalamayla ma'atam. This is the desire and the will of the Eibishter, and the will above any reason. There's no amshacha in any particular aver for any particular function, for any particular reason. The haratzen shebe mitzvahs, the will of the Eibishter in all mitzvahs, hu b'chol hataryag mitzvahs b'shava. They are equal in each one of the 613 mitzvahs. L'mayla medamachi vadim. It's not particular limbs with particular amshachas that has a particular accomplishment, each limb, what its function is. The ratzon of the mitzvahs is the same in all the mitzvahs, which you could also see in the bracha that you make a mitzvah. Asher ketshanu b'mitzvaysa v'tzivanu. The nusach of the bracha is the same by every mitzvah. The conclusion of the bracha is different. Laniach tefillin, lulav, or whatever the mitzvah is. But the actual nusach of the bracha, Asher ketshanu b'mitzvaysa v'tzivanu, is the same for all mitzvahs. Because the ratzon of the Eibishter in the mitzvah, before it comes down to the next level, the hamshacha, into the particular aver, the particular chayis of that mitzvah, the source in the ratzon is the same by all mitzvahs. L'mayla meramachi varim. Ki v'nshar ratzon shebe mitzvah l'mayla bein arech me'adam ha'tachtna shemekayim es mitzvah. So the ratzon of the Eibishter in the fulfillment of the mitzvah is infinitely greater. It's totally removed of the existence and the reality of the person here below that does the mitzvah. Even the tzir, even the formulation, the existence and the expression and the amshacha of Adam ha'elyon, the 248 limbs that exists above. So the ratzon of mitzvahs is removed of that. So for sure the ratzon, the source of the mitzvahs, and the Eibishter's ratzon is totally removed of the existence of the person below. Therefore, the gabe dargezu on this level, the existence of the person doesn't exist over there. The person is not teifes makom at all. The habittul, the head of tefisas makom or bittul b'mitzias, and this is a bittul to the point that it's referred to as bittul b'mitzias, as we'll continue on this point in Mitzvah tomorrow. This last, we'll lead off again on this inyan over here, the third inyan, the highest inyan of kiyama mitzvahs in Mitzvah Shem.